Coming up next on SoCal Connected.
This has gone unquestioned for a long, long time.
Are some city workers getting a sweetheart deal on your dime?
I mean, you can't draw your salary and have your pension come in at the same time.
Our continuing exclusive investigation into city spending. Show me the money.
It's a gold mine for those who can get into it.
Plus,
this is the forces of nature that we can't control.
Rising tides threatening our coastline.
Those structures are not going to stop this process.
Is it time to retreat?
You're going to lose multi-million-dollar houses.
That's next on SoCal Connected. SoCal Connected is made possible through the generous support of the Amundsen Foundation, serving the Los Angeles community since 1952. Jim and Ann Rothenberg. The Maddox Brown Foundation. The Elizabeth Hofert Daily Trust, the John Randolph Haynes and Dora Haynes Foundation, by U.S. Bank, and by UCLA.
The carbon dioxide emission problem is the biggest problem facing society. At UCLA, we've invented a class of materials. We call them crystalline sponges. They are very good at capturing carbon dioxide. They take it in, hold it, release it, and then seek out more carbon dioxide. The idea of taking carbon dioxide then and turning it into a fuel is really now in the research and development stage, but all great things start with a dream.
Since 1863, the dreams of millions have taken off with us, U.S. Bank. As our country has grown stronger, so have we. Today, we are one of America's strongest banks, focused on the future and eager to lend. So every dream, big or small, can keep growing stronger. Imagine what you can do when you have all of us serving you. U.S. Bank.
SoCal Connected starts now.
Good evening, I'm Val Zavala. Outraged workers, unyielding governors, costly pensions for public employees. The controversy is explosive, and it threatens to take down state governments across the country. Los Angeles is also drowning in pension debt, so Measure G on next Tuesday's ballot is designed to limit pensions for future hires. But it may be too little, too late. In our continuing investigation, Show Me the Money, we've discovered a little-known program that allows public safety workers to collect their pensions and their salaries at the same time. Are city employees double-dipping? Correspondent Judy Muller found that some retirees are getting a whole lot more than a gold watch.
So, here is my gold watch, the LAPD let me have for a price when I retired.
Mark Leap got a lot more than his gold badge after nearly 38 years with the LAPD. The retired deputy chief got a jump start on his golden years, a check for more than $700,000, according to public records.
It's given me, the security of entering retirement that I really didn't dream I would have.
That check represented 5 years' worth of his pension payments. But wait, you might be wondering, how did he get that lump sum if he was just retiring? Leap had signed up for the Deferred Retirement Option Plan, also known as DROP. It allows LAPD and LA City fire personnel who've been on the force for at least 25 years and are 50 years old to collect both a salary and their pension for the last 5 years on the job. And of course, they continue to collect the pension for the rest of their lives.
It allowed me to continue to promote during that time. It allowed me to make contributions to the department and to the city of Los Angeles that I never would have been able to make had I retired. And it gave me a nest egg when I did retire that really made it a win-win for myself and for the city.
Well, certainly a win for Mark Leap and other DROP participants, but maybe not for the city or the taxpayers. But first, here's how it works. Officer Jones retires January 30th, 2011. The very next day, he comes back to work. Now Jones continues to be paid his salary, but his pension goes into an account where it collects 5% interest. Jones and the city still contribute towards his pension. When Jones leaves his job, he gets those accumulated pension checks plus 5% interest. So far, 2,808 police officers and firefighters have participated. The average drop check is $328,000 for fire, $306,000 for police. But public records show that some walk away with much larger checks. One assistant fire chief got $830,000. A police commander, $853,000. Another deputy fire chief, more than $900,000.
Just to be clear, under this program, they've earned that pension. The day they enter the drop program, they are technically retired and entitled to it. But they also earn their salary at the same time. They're allowed to essentially double dip this way for a maximum of 5 years when they must leave the department.
The city has paid at least $879 million in salaries, while at the same time drop members were collecting their pensions. This fire chief is the biggest earner, making $936,000 in salary and $939,000 in his drop account during his last 5 years. It's been called the retire for a day loophole, and few seem to know about it.
Outside of the police department and fire department, and including the city council, I'd say there's probably 6 people that know anything about it.
Don't you think that's the kind of thing that would seem outrageous to people?
Oh, sure, if only people knew about it.
Keith Comrie knows. He was LA's longest-serving city administrative officer. He balanced 19 city budgets before he retired in 1999.
Well, when I was with the city, the police union came in and suggested something called a drop program. And I just looked at him and I said, this sounds like double dipping to me. I mean, you can't draw your salary and have your pension come in at the same time. I could never sell that to the public.
That was 1998. Richard Reardon was the mayor.
I sent a memo to the mayor and the council, and I said, I can't recommend this. I don't need to do a cost analysis. It's just not good public policy. And they rejected it. And then about 2 years later, after I left, they rolled back in and the mayor gave it to them.
Right now, what my office, the chief's office is doing is looking at how we improve the recruiting. How do we improve the morale of the department?
The Rampart police corruption scandal in 1999 and an unpopular police chief hurt morale among the rank and file. The LAPD was suffering from low recruitment numbers and high retirement rates.
There was an old saying, 20 and 20. I'm going to stay until I have 20 years on the job, and 20 minutes later, I'm going to retire.
The LAPD is hiring. Become a part of the team.
Slick marketing campaigns were rolled out, but it wasn't enough to pack the academy with cadets. Reardon was under pressure to stop the hemorrhaging and to live up to his campaign promise of a 10,000-member police force.
Mayor Reardon joined city council members today to push 2 ballot initiatives aimed at improving low police morale.
Part of Reardon's plan was the DROP plan. He campaigned heavily for it, promoting DROP as an essential recruitment tool. It easily won the support of the city council, who put it on the ballot.
All right, open the roll on item 19. Close the roll, tabulate the vote.
12 ayes.
That is approved.
It was called Charter Amendment 2. Taxpayers were told it wouldn't cost them anything. It was required to be cost neutral only to the pension fund and not to the city's overall budget. In June of 2001, the voters gave DROP a thumbs up.
It was a win-win. Everybody was happy. There was nothing to complain about.
And for the next few years, everyone stayed happy. Both subsequent mayors supported it. Chief Bratton backed it, and the city council championed it.
And that if there is extra money in the general fund, that will be our priority, and that is where we're going to spend this money.
In 2007, when DROP was up for renewal, the council even removed the so-called sunset clause, the provision which set an expiration date. DROP can't be dropped without renegotiating it. Councilman and former police chief Bernard Park says he has no problem spending money to keep experienced officers rather than hire new ones.
The salary is the salary you'd be paying if you hired somebody to replace them. You just have a far less experienced person.
And a less expensive salary.
A less expensive salary, but that less expensive salary also equates to a less experienced person. And so there's some trade-offs there.
Well, DROP was started to help retain police officers beyond their retirement age, and it's done a good job of that.
Smith, who is also a reserve LAPD officer, is right. Police officers are staying on the force an average of 4 years longer, and firefighters 2 years longer than before. Smith has a reputation as one of the council's budget hawks, but he says with DROP, we're getting our money's worth.
I looked over these figures, and I have to say, I was pretty amazed that a fire battalion commander could get a one lump sum payment of $900,000. That's more than most of us ever accumulate in all of our IRAs or anything else in a lifetime.
Yeah, but that is accumulation of the contributions made during the time he is working. So he is making the contribution to that system.
5 years?
Yeah, 5 years of contributions and interest. That's his contribution plus what we match. And there's the issue, is what we match. But they're doing work. They're not sitting around here.
Well, they're collecting
drinking
a salary.
coffee. They're collecting a salary and they're working. The question is...
They're double dipping, though. They're collecting the salary plus their pension. It's just being put in an account.
Yeah, it's a holding account.
It's a double dip.
No, it's not a double dip.
Clearly what the actuaries and others would call double dipping. There's really no question about it. But I go back to the original point. Is it good public policy? And how would it appear on the front page of a newspaper?
This is how it looks in papers across the country. From San Diego to Philadelphia, DROP programs are coming under fire. Cities in 7 different states are considering dropping or modifying their DROP programs because they cost too much. Los Angeles is facing its worst budget crisis since the Great Depression and is finding itself crippled by pension obligations. Since Mayor Reardon's pension reforms went into place in 2002, the city has pumped more money to the police and fire fund every year. Next year, it will be $450 million. In 5 years, nearly $700 million. For every dollar a police officer or firefighter makes, the city must put in 40 cents towards his pension. In 2001, it was only 7 cents. Now, pension obligations are threatening to take over 1/3 of the city's entire budget.
It can bring the city to its knees. And the next step is closing the libraries and closing the parks and not maintaining the roads. And it's not going to be very nice.
So I'll give you those numbers now.
We asked Miguel Santana, the city's current city administrative officer, about DROP.
Here we are, 8 or 9 years later. Has it really been reviewed? Has anybody taken a look at how much this is costing the city?
We haven't up until recently. We're going to start doing that.
So right now, you don't know how much this costs in salaries or pensions?
The last report that was done was several years ago. That is why we need to do another one to determine whether it's still cost neutral or not.
This is that report. It was done in 2008. It found that DROP was cost neutral to the pension fund. It did not look at the cost to the budget overall because it wasn't required to do so.
I think the thing that's the most egregious to me is that the city, its leadership and the city, is not looking at this themselves.
Former LA Controller and Council member Laura Chick voted for DROP in 2001. Now she has questions.
Are there costs to the general fund? Do we still have the same need to keep experienced long-term officers on? Is it getting in the way of recruiting new officers?
But is there the political will to answer those questions if it means upsetting the police and fire unions?
The city council members, when faced with a program like this, and whether or not it should be questioned or abolished, are probably thinking more about how is this going to affect my re-election or my campaign for higher office.
A number of city council members are thinking about running for mayor. What are the odds that they would ever take a stand against something that would upset the police and fire guys and women?
Minimal to none.
Well, I think the rank and file would be angry if it went away for no good reason other than, politics or sound bites. I mean, the rank and file wants the DROP program to be cost neutral and to help the city operationally. And I want that, and we're going to insist on that.
But if the numbers don't go their way, the public safety unions are still likely to fight for the program. Just ask Keith Comrie.
They can put a one-page ad in the LA Times and attack you. And this was an ad that was placed during one disagreement in a labor contract where they wanted far more than the city could afford. Oh, they play tough. They play really tough.
How hard is it to take away something that people have become used to? This is a huge benefit.
We're in a situation now where there are no sacred cows. Everything needs to be looked at and examined.
Santana says he plans to do just that later this year. Public safety advocates hope city leaders consider what's at stake.
Firefighters statistically live about 7 years less than the average American or average working person. So one of the things about our pensions, public safety pensions, that we hope to maintain and have insisted on over the years is that we get to retire on time. And so I'd hate to see that taken away.
And certainly taking it away wouldn't be easy, even in this time of brutal budget cuts. For SoCal Connected, I'm Judy Muller.
What country was the first to provide retirement pay? France, the USA, Germany. Germany began the first retirement benefits in the 1880s.